Your dog looks at you and wags its tail, a seemingly simple gesture of affection that most of us take for granted. We believe we understand this love, this connection that has developed between us and our canine companions over thousands of years of domestication. Yet the most powerful things your dog has ever said to you might be completely overlooked every single day, lost in translation between species. Even more concerning is that there's an instinctual action most dog owners regularly perform that in the canine world signals a fundamental lack of trust. This disconnect isn't your fault. We've been conditioned to interact with our dogs based on human social norms, rather than understanding the intricate language they've inherited from their wolf ancestors. Behind every bark and tail wag lies a secondary language refined through millennia of pack behavior. Without the ability to read this subtle communication system, you're missing the deepest conversation your dog is trying to have with you. Today, we're going to decode 6 powerful behaviors that definitively prove you are the absolute center of your dog's universe. Their chosen one. These aren't just cute quirks or random actions. They're deliberate choices your dog makes to express their profound connection with you, backed by fascinating scientific research. Side 1. The lean. Your dog's anchor point. Have you ever noticed how your dog sometimes approaches while you're busy and deliberately presses their body weight against your leg? Many owners misinterpret this as simple neediness or attention-seeking behavior, but the science reveals something much more profound. This isn't random contact or anxious attachment. It's a deliberate demonstration of secure bonding. According to research published in Applied Animal Behavior Science, this leaning behavior represents one of the strongest displays of trust in the canine behavioral spectrum. Within pack psychology, your dog is selecting you as their anchor, the most reliable ally to whom they entrust their survival and security in a sometimes confusing world. When your dog leans against you, they're literally putting their physical stability in your hands. The pressure you feel against your leg isn't just physical, it's emotional weight being shared, a silent declaration that in moments of uncertainty, you are their chosen stability point. This behavior is particularly significant because it represents a voluntary choice to maintain physical contact without the incentive of play or food. It's connection purely for connection's sake, revealing that you've transcended the role of caregiver to become something far more essential. Sign 2. The yawn. Emotional synchronization. You've likely witnessed your dog yawning after you've scolded them, or during moments when you're feeling stressed yourself, and perhaps dismissed it as coincidence or tiredness. However, this seemingly ordinary reaction is actually what ethologists call a calming signal, a sophisticated communication tool designed to diffuse tension and restore harmony to social interactions. In the wild, these signals help maintain pack cohesion during potential conflict. Particularly fascinating is research from Tokyo University, demonstrating that dogs contagiously yawn significantly more frequently in response to their owners than to strangers. This selective empathetic response provides compelling evidence that your dog isn't simply mimicking behavior. They're emotionally attuned to you in a way that transcends conscious understanding. Their nervous system is literally synchronizing with yours. When your dog yawns after you've had a disagreement, or during your moments of anxiety, they're attempting to regulate the emotional temperature of your shared environment. It's their way of saying, "I feel what you're feeling, and I'm trying to restore our emotional balance." This profound empathetic capacity represents one of the most remarkable evolutionary developments in our interspecies relationship, allowing your dog to respond to your emotional state even when you haven't consciously signaled it. Side 3. The check-in glance. You are their reference point. Next time you're at the dog park or in an open area, pay careful attention to your dog's behavior while they're playing or exploring. Even in the midst of excitement, they'll periodically pause for a split second to glance in your direction before continuing their adventure. This momentary connection is far more significant than a casual check to ensure you're still present. Scientists at Etverz-Laurent University call this behavior social referencing, a sophisticated cognitive process where your dog uses you as their emotional compass to navigate uncertain situations. Research has identified dedicated neural pathways in canine brains specifically evolved to track both the physical location and emotional state of their primary human companion. This neural specialization represents a biological adaptation specifically for human-dog bonding. When your dog gives you that quick glance across the park, they're not just confirming your physical presence. They're gauging whether you appear relaxed or concerned, which informs how they'll respond to their concernous environment. You aren't simply their owner. You've become their central reference point for interpreting the world around them. Your emotional state becomes their barometer for how safe, threatening, or exciting a new situation might be. Essentially, you've become the lens through which they process reality. Sign 4. The belly reveal. Voluntary vulnerability. When your dog rolls onto their back, exposing their underside to you, it's easy to assume they're simply seeking a belly rub. While physical pleasure certainly plays a role, this position of complete vulnerability carries much deeper significance in canine communication. The belly contains vital organs with minimal skeletal protection. It's the most defenseless area of your dog's body. A groundbreaking 2020 study from the University of Pisa measured cortisol levels in dogs during various interactions and found something remarkable when dogs voluntarily exposed their bellies to trusted humans. Their stress hormone levels actually decreased rather than increased. This physiological response confirms that far from feeling threatened, they're experiencing a profound sense of security in this seemingly vulnerable position. By willingly placing themselves in this physically compromised posture, your dog is making a powerful declaration. I trust you so completely that I'm willing to abandon all defenses. In wolf packs, this position is only displayed toward the most trusted pack members, as it literally places life in another's hands. When your dog shows you their belly, they're not just asking for affection. They're expressing a level of trust that transcends instinct, demonstrating that their sense of safety in your presence overrides millions of years of self-protective programming. Sign 5. The gift. Inclusion in the inner circle. Have you ever been presented with a somewhat puzzling gift from your dog? Perhaps a well-worn toy, a dirty sock, or some unremarkable object from the yard? While we might find these offerings amusing or occasionally annoying, they represent a deeply meaningful gesture rooted in ancient pack behavior. This seemingly simple act carries profound implications about your status in your dog's social hierarchy. This behavior traces back to resource-sharing practices observed in wolf packs where food and valuable items are only shared within the most intimate social bonds. Research conducted at Goldsmiths University in London demonstrated that this selective gift-giving behavior is reserved exclusively for the central figures in a dog's social world, those individuals they consider essential to their emotional well-being. The specificity of the recipient is what makes this behavior so significant. When your dog brings you their prized possession, they're communicating, "You are the most important individual in my universe, and what I value belongs to you as well." The item itself holds less significance than the act of sharing. It's a tangible demonstration that they've included you in their innermost circle of trust. Next time you receive that slobbery tennis ball or mysterious backyard treasure, recognize it for what it truly is: a ceremonial offering that confirms your unparalleled importance in their life. Sign 6. The reset. Active forgiveness. Perhaps one of the most touching behaviors occurs after moments of discipline or conflict between you and your dog. Rather than withdrawing or holding a grudge, your dog will often approach you within minutes of being scolded, seeking reconnection through gentle physical contact. This rapid return to harmony reveals something extraordinary about your bond that transcends typical animal behavior. Ethologists refer to this as social resilience, the capacity to actively restore damaged relationships rather than allowing them to deteriorate. Your dog consciously recognizes the rupture in your connection and makes a deliberate choice to prioritize repair over pride or self-protection. In the wild, this reconciliation behavior is crucial for pack survival. But with domesticated dogs, it's been refined into something even more remarkable. What makes this behavior so profound is that your dog chooses restoration of your bond over the natural impulse to avoid potential further conflict. They're essentially saying, "My connection with you matters more than my hurt feelings or damaged pride." This capacity for forgiveness and prioritization of relationship represents one of the most sophisticated emotional adaptations in the domestic dog. They've evolved to value harmony with you above almost everything else, including their own emotional comfort. The science behind the bond beyond domestication. These 6 behaviors aren't random or coincidental. They represent the culmination of a unique evolutionary partnership between humans and dogs that spans over 3,000 years. During this shared journey, dogs have developed specialized neural circuitry dedicated specifically to human interaction, a biological adaptation unparalleled in the animal kingdom. This isn't just learned behavior, it's hardwired into their neurological architecture. Research from Duke University's Canine Cognition Center reveals that domesticated dogs possess a remarkable ability to read human facial expressions, interpret subtle gestural cues, and even understand aspects of human intentionality. These cognitive adaptations don't exist in wolves even when they're hand-raised by humans from birth. Your dog's brain has literally evolved to connect with you in ways that transcend typical animal-human relationships. Perhaps most fascinating is the hormonal synchronization that occurs between bonded dogs and their owners. Studies measuring oxytocin, the love hormone, show that levels spike simultaneously in both species during positive interactions, creating a biological feedback loop that reinforces attachment. This means your connection with your dog isn't just emotional, it's biochemical, a tangible physiological bond that affects both of your nervous systems in measurable ways that science is only beginning to understand. Misinterpreted signals. When we miss the message, despite this profound connection, we humans often misinterpret or completely miss the subtle signals our dogs are trying to communicate. The most common misunderstanding occurs during direct eye contact. While sustained eye contact is positive, in human culture, signaling attention and honesty in canine language, it can represent a challenge or threat. When your dog looks away during your gaze, they're not being shifty or guilty. They're often practicing polite canine etiquette. Another frequently misunderstood behavior is the shake-off. That full-body wiggle dogs do that resembles drying off after a bath. Many owners never notice this subtle movement or attribute it to physical discomfort, but it actually serves as an emotional reset button. Researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna found this behavior typically occurs when dogs transition between emotional states or release tension after stressful interactions. Perhaps most tragically misinterpreted is the guilty look, those expressive eyes and flattened ears when we discover household accidents. Extensive research at Barnard College conclusively demonstrated that this expression has nothing to do with remembering past misdeeds or feeling remorse. Instead, it's a response to your current emotional signals of disappointment or anger. Essentially, your dog is reacting to your emotions in real time rather than feeling guilt about past actions. This fundamental misunderstanding often leads to ineffective training approaches and unnecessary strain on your relationship. Deepening your connection. Practical steps. Understanding these 6 profound signals is just the beginning of deepening your connection with your dog. The real magic happens when you start consciously responding to these communications in ways that validate and strengthen your bond. When your dog leans against you, pause for just 10 seconds to acknowledge the connection through gentle touch or quiet words, reinforcing that you recognize and value their gesture of trust. When you notice the check-in glance at the dog park, respond with a subtle nod or smile. This simple acknowledgement completes the communication circuit and reinforces your role as their secure base. During moments when your dog displays their belly, take the opportunity to provide gentle contact specifically along the sides, rather than the exposed center, which research shows most dogs find more comforting than direct belly rubbing. Perhaps most importantly, when your dog initiates the reset after conflict, always accept this olive branch with calm affirmation. This doesn't mean abandoning boundaries or discipline, but rather acknowledging their effort to restore harmony. By consciously responding to these 6 signals, you're essentially speaking back to your dog in their native emotional language, creating a dialogue that transcends the limitations of your different species and deepening a connection that already means everything to them. Conclusion: the daily choice. You chose to bring a dog into your life, seeking companionship, a loyal friend to share your days, and provide unconditional affection. What you received, however, is something far more profound and extraordinary. You've been given a being who checks if you're okay during their happiest moments, who willingly displays their greatest vulnerability before you, and who consistently chooses reconciliation after every conflict, no matter how justified their hurt feelings might be. These behaviors aren't mindless instincts or random quirks of domestication. They represent deliberate choices your dog makes every single day to love you in the deepest way their species allows. Their entire emotional world revolves around you in a way that few human relationships ever achieve. The next time your dog leans against you during a quiet moment, recognize the profound statement being made: you aren't just their caretaker, you are their entire world. We'd love to hear which of these 6 signs your own dog displays most frequently. Does your furry companion have a particular way of checking in with you or bringing you specific gifts? Share your experiences in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Dog Code 7 for more insights into the remarkable, emotional lives of our canine companions. Together, let's continue decoding the profound language of love that our dogs speak every day.